Hello everyone. Our new topic is Introduction to Diversity. What exactly the diversity means? Diversity का मतलब है that is variety, you can say variation. When we see the variation in the living organisms, that is called as biodiversity. So in our planet Earth, there is a huge biodiversity present. We can see number of microorganisms, viruses, algae, fungi, plants, animals. These are the living organisms which is present on the earth. They are present on the land, that is terrestrial. They are present on the water, in the water, that is aquatic habitat. They are also present in the air. So these are the variety number of places, you can say habitat, where number of living organisms are present. And this is all together they form. They are present in the ecological complexes. Here, when we talk about the living organisms, there are huge variation present between the living organism. The living organism, it could be microscopic or they can be macroscopic. So the living organism, there is variation in the shapes, there is variation in the color, form, the mode of nutrition. There are some of the organisms which are autotrophic, like the plants. They make their own food material. There are number of animals which are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition. It means they are dependent on other living organisms. There are some of the living organisms which are saprophytic. It means they are dependent on the dead and decaying material. There are some of the organisms which are dependent on blood. We call them sanguivorous animals. There is number of animals which are present in different habitat. Some of them live on land, that is terrestrial. Some of them live inside the water. Some of them live on air. There are some organisms which live on trees. We call them, they are arboreal, like the monkeys, they are arboreal. There is a huge diversity seen in the reproduction also. There are some of the organisms which do a sexual type of reproduction. Some of them do sexual type of reproduction. Even when we talk about the motility, the animals, they are able to move from one place to the another just because of the some motile organs, like unicellular organisms. They have the long flagella. The paramecium, they have the hair like structure, that is cilia. Here when we talk about the mammals, some of the mammals, they walk on four legs, so we call them, they are called as quadrupedal. When we talk about the humans, they walk on two legs, so we call them, they are bipedal. Here there is also seen there is duration of the lifespan. It is going to be different in different animals. When we talk about insect like housefly, the life expectancy is, the lifespan is 17 days. The shark lifespan is 25 years. When we talk about humans, the lifespan is 120 years. So there is a huge difference seen. Variety of organisms are present in this earth. Here, even when we talk about the environmental condition, every place, they don't have the same environmental condition. The different the region, there is difference in the climatic region. There is difference in the edaphic, that is soil, topography, geographically. Each region is different from each other. And due to difference in the region, due to difference in the natural habitat, there is going to be variety of the living organisms also. So as the different environment is present, the organism is able to adapt themselves accordingly, so that the organism, it could be able to survive and it could be able to reproduce. And this is how the continuity of the living organism is going to be. So here, when we talk about the living organisms, they adapt themselves accordingly to the different situation in which they are present, due to which they are different from each other, and this leads to the diversity. And in short, these adaptation in different environments serve as a basis for diversity. So when we talk about the definition of the biodiversity, बायोडाइवर्सिटी इज अ पार्ट ऑफ नेचर. ऑफ कोर्स हमारा जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी है ये हमारे नेचर का ही पार्ट है. एंड here it includes the differences in the genes. हर एक organisms के genes अलग हैं, इसलिए वो अलग दिखाई देते हैं. And this is how, because of difference in the gene, the individual, it is going to be different from the species, and due to which it creates variety, it creates a richness in the plants also and in the animal also. And here, due to which there is difference in the local region, there is going to be seen difference in the country and also in the world, due to which it creates different types of the ecosystem also. This is the environment. So here there is difference in the ecosystem also. There are a number of ecosystem like the terrestrial ecosystem, the land, the aquatic ecosystem, the water, the desert ecosystem, the grassland ecosystem. So there is variety of ecosystem present. So as the environment is different, climatic conditions are different, there is a variety of different types of plants and animals are also present. ये जो biodiversity term है, actually it was coined by the Walter Rosen. But ये जो term, it was popularized by the scientist Edward Wilson so that they can describe more and more about the diversity and the level of biological organization which is present in the ecosystem. When we talk about the biodiversity, today's world there is a huge biodiversity present. Here, Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, and the life came on the Earth about 3.5 billion years ago. At that time, there was very less number of diversity present, but here, as the time went, here, today's world, we can see there is a huge diversity is present in this Earth. So here, when we study the basic concepts about biodiversity, so we study the level of biodiversity, the pattern of biodiversity, the expense, the importance of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, and how, which are the methods we can do the conservation of biodiversity, and which are the efforts to be taken so that we conserve the biodiversity. This is what all we study about the biodiversity. And this is how the introduction of the biodiversity was. And here the video ends, and thank you very much.